Hi, this is Gary Fong, and in this video I'm going to be showing you which Sony cameras I use for different purposes. Sony has come out with so many different models lately that it's really hard to kind of keep track of which ones have benefits in one way or the other, and they're all slightly different in what their strengths are, and so I'm going to go over those right now. Sony at the moment enjoys the honor of having the fastest autofocus in the industry, as well as the largest, finest image quality in the industry. And the two extremes are the Sony a7R, which is a top-of-the-line full-frame camera that shoots a 36 megapixel with no anti-aliasing filter, which gives you the sharpest image that's possible in this format before you go to medium format. It also allows you to have adapters that will fit Canon lenses, Nikon lenses, or even Sony Alpha lenses. Like this one right here is the Sony 70-200 f2.8. It's not a fast focusing camera, so this one is really used when image quality is super important. You're going to make a very, very large image, and you want the best image quality. So this one would be the one to choose for image quality, but not for shooting fast action. If you're going to shoot fast action, up until I tested the Sony a77 Mark II, this little guy right here is the fastest one that I've seen. It's got a very, very quick 11 frames per second, but full autofocus, high-speed shooting mode. It is an APS sensor, so it is smaller, but this camera costs only about $800. And what's also neat is it has Wi-Fi integration that will allow you to download apps like Motion Shot, or you can also directly upload straight to Facebook, which is something that has not really been available in a lot of cameras until now. It accepts the Sony E-series lenses. This one right here is the 70-200 f2.8, and this one is an extremely fast focusing camera. It has object and face detection, but it also has autofocus lock, in which you can choose one subject and track just that one subject as it moves around the screen. It has the widest autofocus sensor covering 93% of the screen, so your subject is free to move around left and right and still be able to track that focus even as your subject is about to move across the screen. So for value and speed, this would be the camera to choose. Also, you don't need to have the lens this big. They've got really tiny kit lens that comes with it, so you can just drop this into your bag. And it's a 23 megapixel, I believe, sensor. This one right here is the Sony a77 Mark II. This one just now took over from the a6000 as the fastest autofocus that I've ever seen, and I'm sure in the industry. It has a true 12 frames per second high-speed motor mode in which the exposure will actually change while you're shooting. The one thing that locks down is the aperture, because the aperture can't react fast enough to shoot at 12 frames per second. The old a77 was rated at 12 frames per second, but only on manual focus and manual exposure. It also has Wi-Fi, but doesn't allow you access to the Play Memories apps, but it does allow you to connect straight to your smartphone once you're logged on to the same network. It has 79 autofocus points, but the big feature about this one is it has a new focus detection mode called Lock-On Autofocus Expand Flexible Spot. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to basically look around for something that you want to shoot. You can move the focus point around on your screen, and once you find something, hold it down, and the camera will then track the subject forward and back, side by side, as long as you keep the finger partially depressed, or if you're shooting in high-speed mode, it will follow focus that object and at a full 12 frames per second in that mode. So for speed and a moderate cost, this one would be the one to use. Now, it doesn't have the portability of the a6000, but it is the fastest. So you would have right here between these two the best image quality available. This one has the fastest autofocus available and the fastest drive speed. And this one right here has almost the fastest autofocus, but it has the widest focusing area, 93% of the screen. So if you're tracking, it will follow focus horizontally better than any other camera. This is the Sony a99, and I use this one mostly for filming videos. Unlike the a7 or a7R, you can turn the screen around and articulate it backwards. So when you're filming videos on the fly anywhere, it really helps to have the monitor so that, like I am right now, so that you can see yourself while you're filming. Or if you're, taking, say for example, self-portraits with a self-timer on, or a family group photo or something like that, it really helps to have the articulating screen. It's also a full-frame sensor. It's 24 megapixel sensor, but it's full frame rather than APS, and it's very good image quality. It has the ability to put in a mic input through an XLR jack, and it also has the standard ISO hot shoe. And that's about it. This one, it is quite fast. It's just not as fast as the a77. It does have focus tracking, and it will track your subject back and forth across the screen. But it's a moderate speed autofocus, and it is a pricier camera because of the full frame and the features. Now these are all three of these are professional grade cameras. The a7R is very, very ruggedly built. I like the form factor of it. It's much, much smaller, and this is, by the way, with a vertical grip. Much smaller than the a77 or the a99. These guys are mirrorless, so the a6000 and the a7R are mirrorless, which makes them much flatter. Also, the mirrorless allows you to be able to put adapters that will fit the other series of lenses, like Canon EF. It won't, with a Metabones adapter, you can actually still have aperture control and autofocus control. And they also have adapters for Nikon and Sony Alpha. With the Sony Alpha, it actually retains all of the characteristics of the larger Alpha series lenses. So what's kind of neat about that is you'll notice that these are both 70-200s, and the 70-200 for the Alpha series is much larger. It's a f2.8 versus an f4, but this is a lens right here that will go on the a7 at full frame. And if you use it on, say for example, the a6000, then it becomes an effective focal length of up to 300 millimeters because of the 1.5 magnification. Okay, so that's it. Large range of capabilities and prices, but what's neat is that you have the best of the state of the art right now. Best image quality or fastest autofocus, and right now that's with Sony. Now I do shoot with Canon and Nikon because my job as a products manufacturer is to test everything, also as a professional photographer and educator. I'm not endorsed by Sony. I don't have a contract with them. If any of the other cameras come up with something amazing, you can count on me to tell you what the coolest things are, okay? So thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you want extended length programming, how to unleash the power of any of your cameras, make sure to tune in to GaryFong.com for our premium video series, where we'll have extended length videos on how to really get into detail and unleash the power of your equipment. Okay, thanks for watching.